Welcome to this episode of Moving Forward Talk with Diana. I am your host, Dr. Diana Clark. This platform is open to discuss various topics to motivate others to move beyond without limitation, set goals, identify their potentials, and acquire those goals without limitation. This week I have with me Dr. Shirley Sims. Dr. Sims, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, Dr. Clark, and thank you for allowing this platform so I can share my story in hopes of inspiring others. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And one of the factors that when we talk to various individuals about being
Mhm.
so passive, one of the factors or the excuses used is I am from a small town, there's lack of resources. My parents didn't teach me how to not settle for the norm. And
Mhm.
so our goal is to motivate them, is to let them know that we don't use those to critique, yet we can, even though the support is not there within the home, even though the support may not be there within the small communities, but the support is there. It's just for us to find that support and apply what we are learning to improve ourselves. So before we get into the questions, give us a brief history of yourself to include family dynamic growing up.
Absolutely. My name is Shirley Sims. I was born and raised in Highlands County, Florida. Oftentimes, when I say Highlands County, people say where. I say the 12 hours of Sebring, and they go, "Oh, okay." So I come from a very royal town community. Um, Growing up, I was surrounded by friends and family within my community that were very supportive. I come from a mother and father family unit, as well as extended family that was very supportive. Um, I stayed with my grandparents. Oftentimes, as people in our community, we not only stay with our parents, we also live with our grandparents. So I live with my grandparents, S.C. May Walker and Reverend Alexander Walker, who are both no longer with us. So my upbringing was surrounded by a very supportive family unit. But one thing that I did find that I was lacking in my community was those opportunities to expand my mind. I was a child that getting a B or a C on a report card, I really put a lot of pressure on myself because I was a top performer. But one thing that I do recall is that my family unit would say, "Hey, it's okay." But oftentimes, as children, we don't accept is okay if we're striving for that A that we're looking for. But from Sebring, Florida, a country girl, as I like to say, I often still have my country accent when I speak. I mispronounce some words, even at my doctoral level, but I am true to who I am, and I'm thankful and grateful for where I come from.
And let me say this, I'm so happy you brought it up. Even at your doctoral level, you still mispronounce some words or misuse some words because
Hmm.
a lot of people think because you have a doctoral degree, we're not supposed to make mistakes and we're supposed to know everything. And we don't.
Mm-mm.
We will continue to make mistakes and we will continue, we're not going to know
Hmm.
everything. And I would use this that in a doctoral study, your focus is on one thing.
Hmm.
It's not on a wide variety of
Yes, I totally agree. We are all students of learning. We always have to learn. So with that, mistakes happen, but it's okay. I tell myself it is okay, Dr. Sims. It's okay that you made a mistake, because I'm always learning. In this world, we have to learn, and we have to allow ourselves to learn in order to become better at the person that we strive to be. Absolutely.
things. Excellent. So growing up in Sebring, in the small town of Sebring, what was your driving force to strive for wanting more than the norm? Because I'm sure growing up, there was a
Mhm,
norm that you see most of everybody
mhm.
achieve and settle for that. So what was your driving force for wanting
As I stated, growing up in Sebring, Florida, surrounded by strong community support. When I was younger, we always had a place to go after school, which was the local Boys and Girls Club. I don't think that opportunity is there today for the kids in Sebring. But through the Boys and Girls Club, I was able to connect with others in the community, formed additional family support and friend support. So when I strived to look at what I wanted to achieve, I knew that I wanted to do something to help like give back, not only to my community, but others in the world. So when I was in high school, I would always be on different clubs and join different sports teams. I had in my mind that if I put my effort that I wanted to achieve it, I was able to achieve it. I had never played organized volleyball in my life. I had never been in a professional, take professional dance lessons, but I tried out for our high stepper team and I made the team. I was also voted homecoming queen, one of the first Black women or girls at that time to be on the homecoming court. So for me, just achieving those milestones was very important to me. Striving to get good grades was important to me. I knew that my family worked very hard, but I knew there was something else.
more?
Even though I wasn't exposed to college when I was younger, because my family did not come from a college setting, I knew I wanted to go to school. I didn't know where, but I knew I wanted to go to school. And a representative from USF, Tavi Smalls, came out and they were like, hey, we're giving free applications to students that want to come to USF. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, sign me up. I did not know anything about college, but I know I wanted to go to school. And at that time, it was embedded that if you wanted a better life, if you wanted to make more money, then you need to go to college. I did strive to be a lawyer at first because of all of the violence that was going on in my community. I wanted to be able to help young people and adults that could not afford legal services. So my undergrad at USF is a criminology major with a minor in political science because I learned during my academic studies that politics plays a huge role in our society. So I did eventually do a year of law school, but in law school, I realized that, hey, this is not how I'm going to change the world. When I graduated from USF, I was a juvenile probation officer. So I got to interact with juveniles and I was able to mentor them, which was something that I really, really loved. So through my opportunities of being a juvenile probation officer, I was able to live out some parts of my dream of giving back to my community because that's what I always inspired to do, but I wasn't fulfilled. And so that led me into education, in which is my current career and something, my passion that I love to do. But growing up in Sebring, Florida, I had to look for those opportunities. Um, our county is surrounded with very influential individuals,
Right.
people such as yourself, Dr. Clark, who has a awesome program for teenagers to give them a sense of direction so they can connect. So that was one thing that I inspired to do when I was younger, was just to make a better life for myself, to give back to the people that had helped supported me when I was younger, from my extended family and friends that believed in me. They will say, hey, you can't do this. You know, they wanted to keep me from getting into trouble, doing things that I know I'm not supposed to do. So I really, really appreciated that. And even to this day, some of them, when they reach out to me and they say, hey, Shirley, I need you to look over my resume or do help me apply for a job. I appreciate what they did, so I don't have a problem doing that because I know on a professional level, I can give them the feedback to help them also be successful or one step towards that goal that they have wanted to achieve in life. So I appreciate where I come from. I appreciate everyone that assisted me and motivated me because we all need motivation. We need someone to tell us it's okay. You know, nobody's perfect. My life has not been perfect. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit. But because of community support, organizations such as yourself, the Boys and Girls Club, my parents, pastors, and mentors, I have grown to be the wonderful and amazing woman that I am here today. So, yes.
Awesome. Yes, we all need that motivation because even me at my current level still need
Mhm.
motivation in certain areas. How did you stay motivated when you became overwhelmed while experiencing the lack of resources and if there were lack of family support and
Mhm.
the lack of and the financial struggles? How did you maintain your motivation?
That is a great question. My motto now in my later years is that I am my biggest motivator. The empower that we have on our mind is very, very powerful. For me, as I stated earlier, not seeing what college life looked like, not being able to talk to someone because nobody in my family unit or my surroundings, I had to talk about it. So for me, my motivation was at the time when I was younger, like 17, 16, 17, 18, was I would write. I thought I was a poet. I would write out my feelings. I would write out what I envision um, when I grow up. You know, we always like to say when I grow up. So that was my motivation when I would sometimes in high school self doubt myself, even though people will tell me, oh my God, you're so pretty, you're so this. But I had self doubt at one time in my life. So I would go to writing. I will write down how I felt. I will be able to express myself through writing. And then I will go back and look at that and give myself kudos on the progress that I had made. That helped keep me motivated because I had something to prove also to people that doubted me, that said that you are going to finish school and you're not going to do anything. You're going to be stuck here in Highlands County, or you say you want to go to college, but you're not going to graduate from college. You don't know anything about college. You know, so when I wrote down my dreams, and it could start small. At the time, it was just to finish high school, to
Right.
finish high school with a good GPA. That's all that mattered because I knew having good grades would take me somewhere. I was book smart. I wasn't what they call street smart because I didn't live that lifestyle, even though I knew people that did it. But through them living that lifestyle, they told me, "Hey, Shirley, this is not what you want to do. Like, you're not going down this road." So I would write down my goals, and they were small at the time. Like I said, was to finish high school, get a good GPA because I know GPA is important. Also, try something new. I was very timid in a shell, even though I was popular in high school. Try something new was it. So like I said, I had no formal training at being in a dance club, but I put my mind to it and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I remember tryouts and my classmate, I kicked the wrong way and I kicked her in the head. And I'm like, oh my God. Like she had formal training. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But hearing the coach at the time and she saw something in me really, really pushed me. So as adults, when we see something in a child, we need to tell them, hey, you may not have formal training, but I'm here to help you. You know, you have the potential. I see the potential. That's what Miss Westbrook, my dance teacher at high school, and my algebra teacher, she said, I see your potential. And just hearing that is like, wait a minute, that's important. Our parents tell us that we see your potential, but when other adults say, hey, I see your potential, I see what you can do, it's okay that you did not get the A, Shirley, that you were aiming for, but I see your efforts, I see you're trying. So that's what helped kept me motivated, even though my family did not have the money to send me to college. I worked at McDonald's at the time, only making $5.25 an hour. I
I
know, God.
remember those days. $5 and 15 and 4.75. I
Yeah.
remember those days.
So, but I was saving to get that microwave for college, that refrigerator for college. So even though the financial backing was not there, for me to pursue my dreams, um, I still worked hard, and then I got financial aid, and I was able to go to school. So that motivation of me wanting to do more, me wanting to give back, writing down my goals, and even to this day, every year before the new year, I take out and I do what is called a vision board. What do I want to accomplish this year? And and I look at what I haven't accomplished and then what I want to accomplish. So 2021 is almost here, so I'll be working on that board, and that keeps me motivated. So seeing it, believing in it, and doing it is what keeps me going. Yes.
And you mentioned they would say, you're not going to go to college. You're
Hmm.
not going to finish, or you're going to finish high school and stay here. And I love when I am told you can't do it. Because whenever somebody just look at me and doubt me, I have learned that when
Hmm.
they say I can't, no, I owe it to myself to prove to them that
Hmm.
I definitely can. It's
Yes.
just like when I was at South Florida State College, was South Florida Community College back then, because I'm not young, I'm way up in my age there. But I remember at the time when my guidance counselor told me to just quit because I'm not college material. And I
Mm,
almost did, and I could have done that. But I said, no, this is going to be another driving force for me to say,
mm,
okay, now if the guidance counselor doubt me, now she should know, but if she doubt me, I owe it to myself not to complete my AA degree, but to keep pursuing until I get to the highest level you can get.
mhm.
Yes. What were the most important techniques you used on your journey to becoming self motivated or to become?
Um, some, in my younger days, it wasn't as many. I find that I need to use a lot more, especially now, because it's this thing called life. I'm a mom of two. I'm a vice president at Azure College, which keeps me very, very occupied. I also have several businesses. Um, I do consulting. I help others. I'm on board of directors. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta, so I'm extremely, extremely busy. So for me to keep that motivation is the end result. So, for instance, by being a vice president at Azure College, I work a lot with adult students, students that come from all different types of background, whether they're an immigrant, whether they're a single parent, family, financial issues, working and dealing with work. So, adults too, we have a lot that we deal with. But that motivating factor is the day that I meet with the student and they tell me, Dr. Sims, I can't do this. Like, I want to be a nurse, but I can't. This is too much. I can't balance school. I can't balance work. I can't balance all the other pressures that are required from life. And we talk. And I always tell them, because in my office, I have my degrees and I share with them my story. I say, hey, listen, when I was in college, I had to go through a lot. I had to adjust to being alone. I had to adjust to all the different requirements that were required for me to maintain a good GPA to stay on scholarship. And then after I finished college, I had my first child, Maurice, very, very young at 23 years old. Um, but I had my degree. But then I went back to school. So I would share with them, like, hey, I've been there. I've been a single mom. I've been working, taking care of a child. And you know what? I did it. And you can do it too. And then I go back to my country roots and I tell them where I came from. I came from a very small town. You said you didn't live here in America. You came from Haiti or Dominican Republic, wherever you came from. We have similarities.
Right.
Because one thing that I did find when I did go off to college was that my vocabulary not was not the same when I went into college. You know, I'm like, what word are you saying? Like, but I had to teach myself a lot because I was motivated to finish something that someone told me that I was not going to do. So for me, what keeps me motivated is on graduation date when I see my students and they said, "Dr. Sims, I did it, thank you." And I said, "No, I knew you could do it. I knew you can do it. Now go out there and save the world and be the best nurse that you can be." So the end result of how I have touched others is very, very important to me, and that keeps me motivated to keep doing everything that I do in my life.
Awesome. Now, from a small town with little resources per se, being the first generation college graduate to now a vice president of the college, what does that mean to you? And what message would you like to send to others? And I ask that question because in the past and even now, we tend to believe that certain professions or certain job positions could only be acquired by a certain race or certain gender.
Mhm.
So, what message would you like to send to those who still hold on to that concept?
Um, Once again, great question. When I first started out my professional journey, after finishing college, I knew I wanted to influence others. So I already talked about law school and everything else. But I also remember sitting down in meetings, oftentimes being the only female in the meeting, the only Black person or Black female in the meeting. And that was intimidating sometimes uh, because of, I was like, how did I get here? You know, do I deserve to be in this meeting with all these people that don't look like me, that are older than me? Um, but then I had to do like a reality check. Like, yes, you do. You know, you have the education, you have the smarts to do it. So that's the mentality that I take on life now is that I can do anything that I put my mind to. So in my current position, I am very, very thrilled to be a vice president and own my own company. And I feel as if that coming from a small town, that helped me because even though I wasn't exposed to a lot of stuff growing up, like the first time I had ever seen a person that was homeless was when I went off to Tampa. Because in my small town, I didn't see just homeless people just on the corner, just sleeping underneath a bridge. We don't have bridges in Sebring. So this was something that was new to me. And it may sound weird unless you come from a small place that you don't have access to all this stuff. But what it did was it wanted me to learn more about the world that we lived in. Yes, Sebring, we have crime, everywhere has crime, but it wanted me to go and look at the resources and the way that people live outside of where I came from. So I have taken a lot of that and applied it also in conjunction to where I come from. And I use that to continue to empower others. So when I say it is important that adults, that we tell kids and we tell teens that you can do this, you can. Like we have to tell them. It is okay that your parents didn't go to college. You know, we have to tell them if that's what you want to do, you can do it. And if you don't know how to enroll your child in college, you have your organization, Dr. Clark,
Right.
that can help with that. So we have to use the resources available in order to empower the young people, to empower ourselves that we want to do better, and envision the type of life that we want to live. Coming from a small town, who knows that I will be now living in Miami, being a vice president, being able to work with different governmental officials, work in different organizations, a member of Zeta Phi Beta, like all these things. But that's only because I allow myself to tap into the resources that are available in Highlands County and beyond Highlands County. Highlands County ourselves, we, as I stated before, have a very wide range of people of influence. We also have a very wide range of people that want to do better, want to start their own business. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I always say power to if you want to start your own stuff. So tap into those resources so you can be able to start your own business and continue to motivate the younger generation. But never forget where you come from. That's also very, very important.
Awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. Never forget where you're coming from. And I always say, and never think we have arrived, because when we think we have arrived, we stop learning, and then the world keeps on turning and we're stuck. That's one little place and we're stuck. Now, you mentioned that you have several businesses. Do you mind to share some of your business that you have going, as well as how viewers can contact you if they need your services?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook, Shirley Sims, Shirley traditional way. I always joke with my mom and go, Mom, Shirley, really? Like you named me Shirley out of all the names, but I've grown to love my name. So it's the traditional Shirley, Shirley, Sims, Sims. For my business, it is www.itrainnow.org, where we focus on training and development, not only for adults, but also for teens. We have a teen academy right now that I'm giving free college preparation and workforce readiness courses to teens. So if you are a teen and you're ready to go to college, or you're interested in what is college, we actually have college advisors that come in and speak with the teens. Everything is virtually. So even though I'm in South Florida, we service Highlands County, we service Tampa, all over the entire US. So that's www.itrainnow.org. And then my email is shirley@itrainnow.org. Or if you're interested, if you live in the Miami area and you're interested in coming to nursing school, then I would love to have you at Azure College. And that's AZURE college .edu.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing such wonderful information with us this week. And if you ever need me, I am also here and available, supporting each
Yeah,
other. Again,
thank you so much for having me. And remember, guys, if you don't take anything else from what I talked about today, remember you can do it. Whatever you put your mind to, whatever obstacles you've been through, you've overcame those obstacles. You can do it. Just start with a plan, write it down, tap into your resources, stay focused. Remember your biggest motivator, and you can do it. Thank you, Dr. Clark.
you're so very welcome. And until next week, this has been Moving Forward Talk with Diane.